All right, traders, it is the 11th of September 2017. My name is Jameson. Let's take a moment and take a closer look at each of these charts that were recently shared. We are decisively asked which one is bullish and which one is bearish, which means one is bullish and one is bearish. And we are given chart number one and chart number two. And let's take a moment to take a look here. So chart number one, we have this nice vertical bar here, or candlestick here that's traded higher with increased ease of upward movement. I don't see a lot of volume here. It's hidden behind the number. And then we just kind of pause, and then we rally higher in the third session. And time frame's not important here. But then following this third session, we now kind of pull back, we reverse, and that actually creates an upthrust. And then we're consolidating along high. So, we're maintaining the upper price discovery of this trading range that's here. So the first reaction from a classical pattern standpoint is just say, hey, we're forming a bearish bull flag, and this is bullish. But let's take a closer look at the volume that's here. So, we're kind of maintaining highs here, and you can see that as we lose this level here, supply actually exceeds demand following these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions here. So this one, let's just say this is a daily chart. We've lost the daily trading range here, and we did so on expanding volume relative to what's visible here. And then now we rally higher, and this is the largest amount of buying volume that's visible on this entire chart. Yet there's no follow through above this trading range, and there's some supply in upper doji. So we know here that we have some supply visible by the downward price discovery and the increasing volume. And then now we have this big effort, little supply, or big effort, little reward, I apologize, this big volume effort that's unable to re-achieve or create a higher high. That's some distribution. And now prices, we're seeing some supply reflected in the volume, but prices aren't trading lower. Now here's the key here. So we gap down lower, we maintain that gap, and then now we have another doji here. So this is a green doji, meaning that we gap down lower, prices trade lower, then a little bit higher, and we close slightly higher than the close here. And this is on expanding volume. This is a lot of buying effort. So, this very narrow close here in this bullish session shows us that demand is having a difficult time overcoming supply, and therefore some distribution. So this chart actually should break down. Again, big bullish session here, no follow through. This is reversed and rejected. That creates an upthrust. Now we have our trading range right through here. That's broken, and it's broken with a lot of supply. You should get a little suspect. We attempt to reverse higher here in expanding volume, but we did not result in a new high. That's in distribution. We consolidated along the range, gap lower. Bears have a chance to take this. We kind of indecisively stay, along the lower half of the present trading range, and now we have this increase in volume, narrow price spreads. Again, demand is unable to overcome supply, and I would suggest that this chart breaks down. All right, so now let's take a moment and look at chart number two. So chart number two, we immediately see that there's some upper price discovery here, and then we gap down, and we actually wash out the lows of this trading range with increased ease of downward movement. But if you look, there's no volume. That suggests that there's not a lot of supply, that it's actually controlled or it's in strong hands. So then the following session, we have a little doji that forms, a lot of supply, or a large upper wick suggests that there's a lot of supply that's present, not a lot of volume here, closed around the mid-range here, so not a lot of information available. And then now we actually have an attempt to return within this trading range here. Volume is starting to expand, so we have higher highs. Volume is slightly expanding or slightly rising. That is constructive. And then here we had an attempt to follow through, so we opened higher, right? We opened higher. Prices dropped down. We back tested this prior level. This has been resistance. We back tested it. We confirmed it as support. We rallied higher on expanding volume. The narrative here is still bullish. Now we actually got down a little bit lower. We break back down. We're testing the same trading range that's here on expanding volume, but it holds it. So this is the largest amount of supply that's present, yet we still have we still have an upward trend that's present. This still, in my mind, is constructive. And now we have an inside day, right? So now we have reasonable volume. Prices actually gap up a little higher, attempt to break back down. Again, we're still finding support through here, and then we rally higher. So the inside session suggests that this is a change in the momentum of the previous candle. So this was bearish. This reversal would mean that we might see a breakout. So everything that I see right now is still pointing to a bullish bias that's present. Now here we are. Prices break back down on expanding volume. They push down lower. We are kind of unable to travel higher. And now we have this narrow price spread. So this is a bearish session on expanding volume, yet we're still above this upper trend range. Supply is unable to overcome demand. And that, in my mind, is bullish. Again, here we are, another kind of constructive session. And then lastly, here we are again. We open high, we open here, prices break back down, and then we close higher on expanding volume. So right through here, the fact that we have an attempt to, or bears are in a position to trade lower, and they don't on expanding volume, this sometimes is what bullish absorption looks like. So we know that there's some demand through here. Demand was able to overcome supply here because we had a new high. So I'm looking for a dip to buy, and that suggests what's going on here. We're seeing some bullish absorption. So I would anticipate this is actually going to rally back up and at least retest highs. All right, traders, those are my thoughts, and I hope you find that helpful. Good luck this week.